Shalom people of God, today is Saturday, July 13, 2024, it is currently 12:40 p.m, I come to share a revelation, that I was actually waiting for the Lord completes it and finishes it before coming to share it according to its recommendations. So he had started talking to me about this revelation since the month of May. The revelation concerns our white robes, the clothes with which we are supposed to present ourselves before him. So he told me that he asks us to sanctify ourselves every day, and all the time, to prevent our clothes from being dirty, and he took the example of physical life. In fact, on earth, when we have a white outfit that we wear, we do everything possible to prevent this outfit from getting dirty. Even a small stain, even a tiny black dot like the end of a needle will not be accepted, and will be enough to remove it. And when we want to prevent our garment from having spot and getting dirty and stained, we really take all possible and even impossible precautions so that this clothing does not take on any stain, so that this clothing remains white. We take all precautions so that our outfit remain bright and dazzling and clean. No one leaves his house with the white clothing when he notices that there is a stain. So it is the same thing. The Lord explained to me that he wanted us to be spotless and pure before him, that we may present ourselves unblemished. He outlined that we must not only wash our dresses, we also have to wash ourselves, because we can't be clean with dirty clothes, and we can't also be dirty with clean clothes and present ourselves in front of him. That's what he explained to me 2 months ago, and today, since last night, he was talking to me about sin, the way he sees sin. He told me that it's not human that he wants to throw into the lake of fire, it's not Christian that he wants throw in the fire, it's not us that he wants to consume in the fire. But it is sin that he wants to throw in the fire and consume in the flame. Sin is so dirty, it is of a filth which does not speak its name, and of a truly odor which does not speak its name. The Lord said that he abhors sin whatever its form. Even if we say that it is a small sin, he says the sin is the sin. And today, this morning, the pastor was preaching on that again, and when the pastor was preaching on that, the Lord showed me in a vision how he was burning something. I couldn't identify the thing because it was so black and dirty. I don't even know what it was, but it was something that had no shape. In fact, that had no shape. In any case, I saw something black and dirty, really unpleasant beyond human words. Fact, I don't know how to describe the ugliness of what I saw the Lord burning and the smell it gave off when he was burning it. My God, sin is smelly and viscous, and I would also like to outline this detail which surprised me a little, which is that while he was burning the sin in the vision he was showing me, and I was looking at it, he was telling me that there is a whole sea of fire in which he throw our sins to consume it. The sins that we ask for forgiveness on earth, he thrown them in a sea of fire. There is a sea of fire in which he burned these sins that we renounce and that he remove in our life. Now when we sin again, it is as if we awaken and revive these sins that were burned. In fact, it is as if we go back into this sea of fire to take out these sins. That is why it's sometimes said that the dog returned to its vomit and the pig went to plunge in the mud. When a man returns to his sin, it disgusts him, it saddens him enormously. He says to himself that he was at the cross to sacrifice himself in vain, yet it was to save his image, and we are made in his image. And while he was explaining that to me, I saw this sea of fire burning. The sins of the believer was confessed and renounced. This sea of fire was so powerful that when the sins of the people were thrown in it, these sins only touches this sea of fire. I saw that these were consumed instantly at that moment. The fire had such power that our sins do not resist inside this sea of fire, but when we sin again and come back to our bad habit, it is as if we go to take back these sins which had already been consumed, while this sin is no longer supposed to exist. Look at the magnitude of man's disobedience. We awaken sins that were thrown in the sea of fire by the actions that we commit, the words that we speak, the bad things that we meditate in the heart. While the breath that he gave us is for us to prepare our garment and meet him, and he said that's how he throws sin into hell, to burn it, because he no longer wants to see sin exist. He first purified the earth the first time with water, and he realized that sin was spreading always. That's why he wants to eradicate sin from the face of the entire planet by fire, which will mean that there will now be a new earth, a new heaven at the end, after having destroyed the current world. In fact, because that he doesn't want no longer see a single trace of sin. He said that he is tired of seeing the sin because when he created the world he had not created the world so that sin would come in and dominate, but it was through Adam's disobedience that sin infiltrated, and Satan seized the opportunity to propagate and spread sins every way possible and impossible. So I come back again to the revelation while I was watching the thing was catching fire and the Lord was telling me that this is how it consumes sin. But what caused the human being to fall is sin that we commits. For example, when we take the case of adornments, why women fall into hell, even men, for they are men who adorn themselves. People falls into hell because they clings to sin that is supposed to burn. That is precisely why the Lord asked us to be separated from sin, because sin is supposed to burn. We must understand the gravity of sin and renounce it, so that the Lord himself comes to restore us and make us new creatures separated completely from sin. But unfortunately man insists on remaining married to sin. Many are remaining attached to sin and they are clinging to sin, which means that when God throws sin into hell the sinful man follows it, and both the sin and the man that cling to sin falls at the same time. They fall together to be consumed. This is what the Lord told me, that this is not in his will that man created in his image can be consumed by fire. It is as if he himself created the fire to consume himself while he cannot consume himself. While the Lord was explaining this to me he was really saddened, and while I was watching he was telling me all these things and then he told me go and share this with the church. I came to do my part. 1 explained as he told me to explain. I said what he told me to say,